Hey, what up, Lokesters? This is Loke Saint. You're listening to Uncovering the Underground with my man Skippy Ickum on Spreaker Podcast Radio, bringing you nothing but the best in underground music.
Hater made. Hater made. Haters been in my life like every day. And when I was young, used to get wrong and held at bay. With a gun in my gum, say something in your blaze. Lit up on the spot when I hit it with a hot bullet, pop no delay. So I learned as a kid, good and evil be out to play. And not even mama could stop the drama out the gate. Could it be fake good kid with a lot I wanna live for, but I gotta wait and hesitate. Date 1990 to the hate, rewinding time to see the hate. Turn 13 and I'm beating with demons, seeming so irate. How the haters like teaming and beating, mistreating me, lot on my plate. And the hate was eating me up, turned a good heart to Norman Bates. Marketing hard and trades, marketing with the shades. They take the week every night with an invite to the devil's ways. And they told me ain't no hater gonna be messing with you if you only let us inside you to ride with you and hit them with a strength of 5. Those super saiyan straight could be on me. Go ahead, well I've hit you intended. These haters hit them with a minimum venom, I'm not gonna scattered and tatted. Never really gonna know what just happened. Pull it back when the trigger get to tapping, because any company just better wanna kill a rap band. Thinking all the haters the minutes thinking the crackheads. Some of the pump action hit 'em made. Hater made, day to day. Till I made the kicking back at you like catching draft from a native way. Haters fade, just hate away. What I love because quicker was to get chopping the haters like alligator bait. Hater made, proud to say, the more you have faded me, more than making me better. And every way drink up that hater rate for the record, let the wager be made. They keep on hating while I'm clocking major pay from being hater made. Hater made, meaning I was made by the shade. The tyrant so full of violence and hatresses was a babe. But a low learned quick in the world that's predator appraised. Because you hate it and ain't it, don't mean gotta be the devil's slave. Absorbing hate, then morphing more in my organs to turn it around and chop up haters like Lizzie Borden. Imprison hatred and use it to my advantage like distortion. But I believe that, but I get in where you fit in all proportion. But gotta be wary of haters, cause they come in so many forms. And sometimes I get blinded, but I hate low hanging up a horn, so be warned. Low has been scorned since I was born. Hated like Jesus, believe this and I accept it as the norm. But I've landed, been affected, rejecting love from a war. Deflecting demons and devils on multiple heathenist levels that try to get even by crushing my life, achieving my mental. But the low still running and gunning, never ever gonna stop the self-devil. See, I've been hater made, day to day. Till I made the kicking back at you like catching draft from a native way. Haters fade, just hate away. What I love because quicker was to get chopping the haters like alligator bait. Hater made, proud to say, the more you have faded me, more than making me better. In every way, drink up that hater rate for the record, let the wager be made. They keep on hating while I'm clocking major pay from being hater made. Hater made. See, I've been hater made, day to day. Till I made the kicking back at you like catching draft from a native way. Haters fade, just hate away. What I love because quicker was to get chopping the haters like alligator bait. Hater made, proud to say, the more you have faded me, more than making me better. In every way, drink up that hater rate for the record, let the wager be made. They keep on hating while I'm clocking major pay from being hater made.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Uncovering the Underground radio show brought to you by First Angel Media and Brutal Business Entertainment. As always, I'm your host, Skippy Ickum, and I want to thank you for tuning in tonight. Whether listening live or streaming after the fact, make sure you click the like, share, and follow button to all your family member and friends out there so they see it. It keeps you up to date with what's going on with the show, and it obviously spreads us around to the underground podcast community, building our ranks and helps more people find the show. So we would really appreciate it. We do want to thank our sponsors, Tattooed Scumbag Apparel at tattooedscumbag.com. Promo code BBE10 will get you 10% off of any order that you do, whether it's a single item or overall package. And they do everything from beanies, hats, hoodies, socks, you name it, they make it. A good local Pittsburgh company owned by a tattoo artist who started the clothing line. Friend of mine, someone who sponsors me musically and my label and the radio show. I wear his stuff and their stuff, on stage, at home, when I'm running errands. I love it. It's not just something I wear because I'm sponsored. It's something that I actually stand behind and really like the clothing. So if you're a tattooed scumbag like me, I think you'll love it. Make sure you check them out, tattooedscumbag.com. promo code BBE10. We also want to thank our other sponsors of the show, Roush Designs, Legion Artworks, R3 Graphics, and 5mg Artworks for everything that they do, and obviously our partners, First Angel Media, for everything that they do as well. We do bring you the show each and every week on Thursday night, 8 to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Throughout that hour and a half, we play some other artist songs. We play songs from the artists that we are interviewing, if they are music artists. And we pick the brains of great up-and-coming underground personalities, whether it be bands, rappers, models, authors, you name it. We've had them on the show, and we're always keeping it fun, always bringing you fresh new people to find out about, or find out more about if you already know who they are. So make sure you tune in each and every week. You can listen to the show anywhere that you like listening to your podcast, so whether it be Google Play, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spotify, you name it, we're on it. We do host our show through Spreaker, and that's Spreaker.com, or through the Spreaker app that you can listen through that exact channel. The thing that's different about that channel compared to the others is that'll actually allow you to instant message us during the live shows, just to kind of interact with the show, talk with us, talk to one another, and network. Allow you to ask questions of our artist each and every week that I will read off. So if you're listening out there and want to be more interactive with the show, we always suggest that you do that and encourage it. That is Spreaker.com, or you can go through the Spreaker app, and that's Spreaker. So, recently we did change the timing of the show, and we would like to hear what you guys think about it. It used to be 8 to 10:30, and then 9 to 10:30 was the interview portion, 8 to 9 was music. We kind of switched that up recently because of some demand from the listeners out there that they wanted to hear it a little earlier in the night, that they wanted to see the show still do what it does, but shorten it up a little bit so it'd be something that they could listen to the whole episodes. So if you like that or you dislike that, please let me know, and you can hit me up and drop a line at brutalbusinessent@gmail.com. Again, that is brutalbusinessent@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. If you're trying to get yourself on the show, trying to, be interviewed on the show, or just have your music on the show, suggestions of what we should do, what we shouldn't do, anything that you want to know or talk about with me or Brutal Business, please send us an email at that address. And if you want to keep up with everything we're doing, make sure you check us out at teambrutalbusiness.com. So tonight, we have a cat that I've known about for a few years now. We've played a few shows together. He's been in the Pittsburgh scene. He's sporadic, though. He kind of pops up, and he'll certainly put on a good show, put out good music, and then he vanishes like a phantom, and then he comes back again. He always keeps me on my toes, but I certainly like his music. Come to really like the guy as a person, and I'm excited to present him to you guys tonight. We're going to pick his brain on who he is as a person, how he got started, and who he is as an artist, and also listen to some of the stuff that he's been working on recently. So without further ado, we have Jay Caulfield on the line. How are you doing tonight, bro?
I am fantastic, my friend Skippy. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. Just relaxing, getting to kick it with a fine person such as yourself tonight to just kind of bullshit a little bit and get to let the fans out there discover who you are. We're going to uncover the underground together.
Hell yeah, brother. Let's do it.
So, obviously, as I said, you've come and gone a few times. I know life gets busy, but the one thing about you that's kind of different than most, if you were 30 years old or 35 years old and I said, you disappear in pockets and then come back, maybe it's just a hobby, maybe it's just, not something you're trying to be famous on, maybe it is. But the difference about you compared to most is your age, that you started quite young on stage and performing. So even though you've come and gone several times and kind of keep us on our toes, you're still very, very young. So you have quite a span of time ahead of you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about, what age you got involved in starting writing music, what age you first played live on stage, and kind of tell us how you became to be who you are now and what led up to this.
Absolutely. So, believe it or not, it started when I was just about 9 years old. That was when I first really entered music seriously. I started in my school's orchestra playing the upright bass. And I was really good at it, to the point where I was moved to the more advanced orchestra before anyone else. I always had a knack for music. I always knew it was what I wanted to do. But it wasn't until I was about 10, 11, I really realized I wanted to get into rapping and being a front man of some sorts. So I started writing music, and then at the age of 13, I recorded my first song on a shitty Samsung Galaxy Tab 2. At about 2 a.m., sent the files to my friend in Cleveland. He mixed it for me, and there was my first ever song And you mentioned how I've always been really sporadic. I think that's just been kind of a symptom of growing up and everything. I've been finding myself more and more. And if you noticed in the times I've popped up and disappeared, when I came back, there was always something new, something different about me. And I think right now, this is like when I've come back to really stay. I've really realized what I want to do with this, and I think my age has given me a lot of time to really find myself as an artist, because I'm only 20 years old still. And I think I really know what I want to do with it now. I've had, 8 years or so to really discover myself. And I'm, finally getting good opportunities, playlist placements, full project finally out on Spotify. Listen now, called Please Don't Love Me. I've put my heart and soul into that project. Opening for Attila and Xavier Wolf in April. I think all these, different moments I've had in music, they've lasted for short periods of times. I've played a few shows, stuck with one style, but now I've really found myself. I'm really, just on top of it now. And I'm at the prime age to really just, get started with this seriously 100% full time.
Well, I think that's great. And that's whenever I said that, by no means do I want it to seem, folks out there listening, that it's, it's not something he takes seriously. It certainly is. But, with someone who's a little bit older and taking time off and coming and going, it's just like, okay, they kind of do this as a hobby. Whereas someone that's still under the age of 21, that's already been putting 8 years of time and already released, a good bit of music and has more coming, that's great, because you are finding yourself. You're finding out how to kind of manage the world, because you are still just breaking that cusp of still kind of being a kid, but starting to move into adulthood, as you get out of high school and you start to take on that transition. And it's a wonderful stage in life to kind of come into your own, not only as a person, but as a musician and musically. And certainly you'll have a lot more stepping stones throughout life. Your personality and your outlook on life will change many more times throughout the years. But it's a great ride, and you just kind of learn as each step goes, and the do's and don'ts, obviously. So I think that you certainly got a lot in store for people out there, and I look forward to what it is that you're going to present to us, not only tonight, but in the future, because, as I said, you're still pretty young. You still got a lot of time to make your mark known.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I think I also really just benefited from starting so young. I played my first show on my 15th birthday, actually, down at the Rex Theater, opening for Satanic, Razakel, and Dark Half. And it wasn't, anything spectacular, but it gave me time to improve and grow and, learn how to do all this stuff. And now that I'm at the age where I can really, take charge of my life and make all my own decisions, I have all that experience in from when I was younger. So I'm ready to present that to a larger crowd, larger fan base. I just played at the Smiling Moose recently, opening for Hello Goodbye. It's a name a lot of people probably haven't heard in a very long time. But I was, the crowd was definitely receiving me better than they ever did at any show before. So it's just really exciting to present this to, just a larger audience finally, more than just, the Pittsburgh crowd. It's starting to reach out to other people now. It's really nice.
Well, and the thing is, like I said, the big stage that you have kind of against you, but also for you, is your age, because really a lot more opportunities will present themselves to you once you're 21 and up. Now, you can do a lot before you're 21, certainly, but once that stage hits, it opens a new door to bar shows, to other venues that can't allow anybody under 21 in their venue, which, I mean, some of the ones here are pretty lenient on letting people there, but there are certain venues you just can't walk into, and that's a shame. I remember being, younger than 21 out and performing, and there was just places we would try to get in and just couldn't do it. And then we finally did get in eventually years later. And it was awesome to get that opportunity. So you've done quite a bit. You're getting your gears focused now on what you want to do and how you want to do it. And it's only going to continue to perfect and tighten. And then now a new doorway is about to open for you in the next year. So, I mean, you give it a few years, you're going to learn a lot, and you're going to certainly have one hell of a journey.
Hell yeah, man. I mean, I get this ball rolling right now. Give me 5 months, I'll be 21. I can play wherever I want to,
That's nice,
man. I don't got that much time, Give me a few months to gain some traction. Anything is possible after that, really.
No, absolutely. And I mean, certainly last time I seen you, it was much better than the time before that and the time before that. I mean, it's been a steady progression, as anyone should be. So, as you said, you're coming into your own, and whether you're fully there yet or you're damn close. I remember kind of the evolution for myself over the years of still always making dope music, but I was getting tighter and tighter into who I was, into my own element, and eventually there just became a time where you're like, okay, I'm fully who I am as a hip hop artist now.
Yeah, man. It's just all about improving. I don't think anybody ever stops. And really the biggest thing that's helped me is just trying something different, man. One night I just heard a beat and it was different and I wanted to try something with it, and it's really just got the ball rolling. I have 3 projects in the works now, 1 solo, 2 collab projects, doing a couple other, just plenty of writing off to the side. It's really just all about putting that work in now and, setting myself aside from everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to do your own thing.
Like me. Yep.
You have to just kind of stick to yourself and do what you want to do. Don't try to be, a part of any type of wave. I say, be true to yourself, put out what you want to put out, and they're either going to love it or they're not, but at the end of the day, you're going to feel good. And that actually brings me to a question that I have, which doesn't mean that that's going to be your answer, but it could be. There's a question that I ask a lot of times in the show, and usually ask later in the show, but I'm going to throw it out there right now. If you had to pick between writing a hit song that would set you financially and give you the fame that you always, were destined for or wanted, but every other song you wrote after that was trash, or would you take writing banger after banger, but no one thinks it's a banger? Like, you are so incredibly proud of what you put out, but every time you play it, people are like, yeah, man, it's cool. But you're like, no, man, that's the best song that's ever been written. So you have the mentality, every song you put out is fucking flawless, but no one likes it? Or do you write that one hit that sets you for life, but every song after that's garbage and everybody compares you to that one song? What do you pick?
See, I don't know. That's really, really tough. Because, I really do think for any artist, the biggest moment is that one song. I think any big artist is going to have that one song that they're compared to. So once you reach a certain point as any artist, take Insane Clown Posse, for example, they have songs like Hocus Pocus or Chicken Hunt, and, those big standout songs from their discography. And a lot of people compare their catalog to that and they're just disappointed due to it. So I feel like that's an inevitability. But I'd rather have make banger after banger music that I'm truly proud of, because that's what I started doing. I stopped trying to impress other people. And now I'm so much happier with music and I'm making more. And at this point, I don't even really care. I want it to get big. I would love for it to, but I'm just happy to be creating something I'm proud of. So I'd have to go with the latter and say, just have people think meh while I'm proud of it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I admire that. I mean, you have to stick to your guns, and this is the music I like to make. And there's that vital point where at least people should go through, not a lot do, but you start to make music for yourself, but you're making it trying to impress other people, and then you get to a point where, like, you know what, I don't fucking care about doing that anymore, and you cut that, and you just truly start making music for yourself. And if you're one of the rare that do that, it's much more fruitful because you don't care anymore. You don't care if it's liked, if you get big, you don't get big, because you go out there, you're still playing shows, you still have fans, you're still selling music and merch. You, at that point, are a rock star, whether, you'd be notified one is not or not, you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. And that's one thing you'll notice about the songs that I sent you for tonight. They're all in their own, different style. If you pay attention to those, and then the songs that you've seen me perform when you saw me live, however many years ago, you're going to notice that there's a very big difference in style. I used to be just a straight up rapper trying to spit hard bars and everything. But this is me just going into more of the realm of stuff that I would listen to. You know what I mean? The kind of music I like, that I enjoy. I'm not afraid to experiment anymore, and I'm not trying to impress anybody. And it turns out it actually impresses people more when you're not trying to impress them, when you're just having fun and enjoying what you do, you end up creating even better things, you know?
Real shit. You know what I mean? Because whenever you're putting off truly who you are as an artist and a person, it emanates a certain type of glow and feeling off of you that people receive, they're perceptive to. That you can still put out good music that they vibe to, but when you're truly being yourself, it puts off a different feel in the music that people pick up on, and they know that's you, and it makes them like that music more.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the biggest thing. Like in my last show, this is one of the craziest things that's ever happened to me. You know, ever since I've, started, switching things up, trying a new style. My newer song, Not Your Doormat, it's got almost 1,500 plays on SoundCloud now, which is a decent bit for me, And at the end of the song, I heard it, at least half of the crowd there sing along to the chorus. And that's when I knew I did something right. It's the first time it's happened to me in my 5 years of performing. And I knew I did something right. I wrote something that people enjoyed, that people, vibed with. And it was enough for them to care about what I said, listen to it, and then sing it back to me. It was a surreal feeling, honestly. And that's when I realized that, now that I'm doing what I want to do, not caring what other people think and just having fun with it, people are getting that same vibe. They're enjoying what I do just as much as I do. It's really cool, and it's, a really nice change in pace for me.
That's awesome. That's what we all can push for or want to have, you know what I mean, is to have that peace with yourself. You have to be at peace with yourself to make true art. So why don't we listen to it right now? Which of the three do you want to jump into?
Let's see, which should I send you? I'd say let's go with Comeuppance, because we're talking about a lot of the beginnings of me switching up to this new style, and this is the song that started this all. That my new album actually it formed from me making this song initially. So I like people to hear where I came from with it.
Well, let's check it out. We'll be right back on Uncovering the Underground. All right, we are back on Uncovering the Underground. That was Comeuppance. I think I said that right. Comeuppance.
Correct. Hell yeah.
All right. Yeah, by Jay Caulfield, our guest here of the evening on Uncovering the Underground Radio with your host here, Skippy Ickum. We are about 25 minutes into a discussion with him on how he got started, his time that he's invested into his craft and what's to come for him. And, we've been just asking them some different things. If you were looking to ask a question of our guest, if you want to know anything from him, if you guys have any questions for myself, please go ahead and go onto the Spreaker.com or Spreaker app, and you can talk to us through the instant messenger feature. If you don't know and you're in the Pittsburgh area, tomorrow night, Horror Realm Con is going on in downtown Pittsburgh. Make sure you hit us up for info on that. Brutal Business is doing the after party, so we'll have several Brutal Business Entertainment artists performing throughout the night into late into the night, and you'll get to kick it with some great celebrities. You get to kick it with our whole squad at Brutal Business, and it's just going to be a really fun time. So if you're not doing something tomorrow night in Pittsburgh, make sure you stop in, hit me up first. I'll get you the info for the link. I don't have it with me at the moment, but I will certainly send it over if you message me. So why don't you tell us a little bit, Jay, about that song, Comeuppance. Where'd you come up with the name?
I use it because it's a song about like getting what you deserve and everything. And it's also a commonly used wrestling term. And as any of my good friends know, I'm a big wrestling fan. So it's kind of a little reference to my love of professional wrestling.
Okay.
But I was going through some like relationship problems at the time and everything. And I was looking through beats from that producer To The Good, because he's produced some songs for one of my favorite musicians of all time, Garden. And I decided to check out some of his beats online. I heard that one, and I just heard everything I was going to do with it right away the first time I listened through it. Wrote it that night, recorded it the next day, and, you know, I just kept on creating from there.
Now, do the beats speak to you specifically? And what I mean by that is there's songs I can listen to that it's a great beat, I love it, but there's no way I could write something to that. And then I listen to another beat and it just hits me, and I know that's the one, and I have to write to it. Now, there's other rappers out there who can just jump on and they spit to any track. It doesn't matter what it is. I don't claim to be able to do that because it's certain things that speak to me and I tell my story. I can spit over any beat, but I mean, like, to make it something that's passionate that I think's a good song, I have to really have that beat speak to me. Now, what's it like for you? Is it something you can just kind of jump on anything, or are you very selective with the sound of what you're making?
I'm extremely selective, yeah. If you pay attention to that last song and everything, you know, a lot of people, one of their biggest comments for me about it, they always say they haven't heard anything that sounds quite like it. You know, it's a mix of a lot of different things. I listen very carefully for something that just I can, you know, I wouldn't mind hearing, you know, over and over again, something I can, you know, see myself writing to. I just know it when I hear it. You know what I mean? I can write without a beat. I can write to a beat. But whenever it comes to choosing a beat, no matter what the writing process for the song is, it does have to speak to me in like a very specific way. It really does have to stand out to me.
Okay.
It can't just be any old beat.
I agree.
No
That's where I'm at myself. I'm very, very selective on the beats. I mean, there's a lot of beats I'm going to put on. I'm like, hey, man, spit to it, and I'll do something to it, you know what I mean, and fuck around. But for me to feel the song and really, really vibe to it and get into it, I have to have that beat, like, almost, it calls me out. I can listen to 30 beats, and there's just one that's like, I'm the one, and you notice it when it happens.
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely. That's pretty much for every single song on the album. Like, I heard the beat, and pretty much the first time I listened through it, I could at least hear a melody of what I would do to it and have a general idea of what theme or, you know, I would follow.
Good. It's speaking to you. That's what you want. You know, definitely helpful whenever you don't have to force it. It comes natural. Now, what is the writing process for you? Is it pad and pen? Is it typing in your phone? How do you do it?
I always type it Google Docs all the time because I change things so often. I used to write pad and pen, but it would get to the point where, first of all, my handwriting sucks. So sometimes I couldn't even read it. And I would just change things so often and scribble things out. I would have to just completely rewrite it on a new page. Because I'm very picky about what I write, what I put out. The album I just dropped actually came from an EP I was supposed to drop last fall, but I ended up hating how a lot of things were written. Only a few of the songs survived from that EP, and one of them actually got completely redone with a new beat and recording and everything. But whenever it does come to actually like finishing the song and everything and writing it, recording it, I tend to pretty much I edit things a lot like at the very end as well. Nothing's ever final until I'm recording it. I don't think I've had a single song that I haven't like rewritten parts of when it came to finally recording it though. Just because whenever I pay attention to how things sound a lot. And I just want to make sure, everything sounds perfect, try different words out, switch different things around. I'm very selective on what I say in my songs, just as much as I am with my beats, honestly.
Well, it's a reflection of you, so you have to be. I mean, whatever form it takes, whatever style hip-hop you make, how you make your music, how you portray it to the people is how they're going to perceive it. So, you got to kind of figure out, what do you want to say?
Yeah. And another big thing is a quote from Mike Patton from Mr. Bungle and Faith No More and like 5 million other bands. He always said that he pays attention more to the sound of the word than the meaning, because, he wants everything to just string together perfectly. And I try to find a balance in between that. But I really look at that quote because I think it is really important. If you do listen to his music, you can tell how he does that. And I feel like that's a very important part of music that a lot of musicians don't look into. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it really is about it's not necessarily about the words. You want it to be about the words, but if someone knows how to really just use their voice as a instrument almost and kind of vibe with that beat and flow with it, it doesn't really matter at that point in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
But if you can add both, it's great.
Exactly. That's why I try to find a balance between the two. Because a big focus of my music recently has been like, I want my music to be stuck in people's head, I don't want to just spit, a dope verse and then people say, okay, cool, and have no reason to listen to it again. You know what I mean? I want to give people a reason to go back, a reason to know the words to it. And I've learned that a very important part of that is just tweaking the smallest parts, If you even change one, a small one-syllable word in a chorus, it could make it, 5 times catchier even.
There's been a
just
lot of
because
time.
It rolls off the tongue a little better.
Oh, it does. Because you don't know this. You shape the song, but the song isn't completely shaped until the very last minute and you finish recording, you finish mastering it, because at that point you never know when you're going to find something you want to change after it's been recorded, after you've done it. There's been things I went back on and changed and cut out, redid, and there's been sections where I'm at the studio, and you can talk to Demo Demon on this one. He's certainly seen it a few times, where I show up and I would have a section I didn't have completely finished, and I would kind of not freestyle that in the studio, but I would write that last section of bars with the pressure on, knowing it has to be done now. And it would produce some good results. And then other times I come with just 3 or 4 songs back to back done, like I have tight. So it just depends on what you're feeling at that time. But I don't think a song's done until you're done. And what I mean by that is don't ever just be so set on one thing and not be willing to change it. Because there's been whole sections of songs I've completely flip-flopped in the studio because it ended up working out better as a full track.
Yeah, that's one of the big reasons that even when I was finishing this most recent album, I went to my good friend Grace's house. Big shout out to her. She's been a big, supporter of mine ever since we first met a couple years ago. But when I was finally, mixing and mastering everything, I was getting her opinions on, what sounds better. Hey, would this sound better here and everything? I'm not proofreading my own work entirely. Getting other people's opinions as it goes along. And it's actually ended up producing better results, taking that route. Because sometimes whenever I'm listening to something on my own and someone else listens to it, they'll hear something different with it. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, because your own mind's going to hear it different than someone else's, and anybody's, obviously. But, when you're the artist and you're the one writing it, you hear it from the ear of an artist, but they're telling you the perspective of the ear of a regular person, which is a good thing to know. Okay, that's how someone else is perceiving it. I'm not thinking of it that way. You're right. Maybe a lot of people would hear it that way. Shit, well, I got to change that. And, you know what I mean? It really does help shape your music because it helps you be the best you. Because then you want to be on point. You don't want to be putting out shit that no one's going to like. Obviously, you want to be true to yourself, but you want to be making music that people at least vibe to, and you're not up there looking like an asshole.
Yeah, Yeah, 100%. And like, it's actually led to some pretty cool ideas I've come up with at points, because people ended up liking songs that I myself didn't really care for too much in hindsight. But I decided, hey, let's work on some stuff like that since people enjoy when I do it. And I've ended up, coming up with new ideas and ending up, doing better at things in that style. Like the one song that I sent to you for tonight, Blackout. I wasn't the biggest on it whenever I finally released the album and listened through it, myself the night it came out. I was like, maybe there's a thing or two I would have changed about this song. But a ton of people ended up texting me saying, hey, that was one of my favorites from the album. And it was really important to hear that from the perspective of a listener and think, okay, if they like that, then how can I improve on that to a point where I also enjoy it, in that kind of style. And I've been writing some stuff that I'm really excited to show people recently, and people that like that song in particular will enjoy even more,
That's awesome.
Getting a lot of, an outsider's perspective is really invaluable.
Yeah, some people have a hard time with that because they don't like being criticized to any degree. So if you like, I think if you tried that different, they're kind of like all defensive right off the bat, like, no, it's my way or nothing. And you can't be like, if you're closed off, you're seeing your music only one way, and you're doing yourself an injustice, because not only are you appeasing them a little bit, which you shouldn't care about, but if you're appeasing them and you're stepping out of your comfort zone, then you start to say, well, wait a second, maybe I should do something like this. You can't be closed off. I know so many people that didn't want to try certain styles or certain elements and then had tried them, and they're like, wow, I wish I would have done that sooner. You got to just kind of be free with it.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Where was I going to go? Hold up. I lost my train of thought.
It came, it went.
Yeah, that tends to happen to me on a semi-regular basis. It's,
it happens to us all, brother. Don't worry about it.
I go with it, man. But yeah, it's actually been a really enjoyable journey going that way and everything, just experimenting a little bit more. I've been trying to take influence from like outside, genres and everything. I've been rapping for years, but what if I took influences from pop punk? What if I took influences from even metal, EDM and everything? It's really, just started to catch on with other people. It's really made it more fun to make music, and people have been saying like just wonderful things about it. And I actually am working on a new project right now, tentatively releasing sometime in June, called Blunts Under the Bridge. And this one is going to be an entire, fun, almost punk style EP. I'm experimenting with a little bit more stuff because people seem to really like the punk style tracks from my album. So, look out for that. You heard it first here on Uncovering the Underground. Really looking forward to just everything that I'm doing, and people really enjoying the stuff that is me experimenting and stepping out of my comfort zone. I'm glad that that's going well for me right now, for sure.
Absolutely, man. I agree 100%. And with that being said, we're going to take our next break, and we're going to mix it up a little bit on you. This one here is South of Clarity, Coward's Ruse. We'll be right back on Uncovering the Underground. All right, guys, we're back on Uncovering the Underground, and that was South of Clarity, Coward's Ruse. Let us know what you thought of it. Hit us up with an instant message through Spreaker and let us know, or just hit us with a comment afterwards and tell us if you like the song. We'll definitely get it back on the show. We have been hanging out with Jay Caulfield here from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, hip-hop artist that we've been hanging out with roughly almost an hour now, talking over his new music coming out, his past, and how he's gone to where he's at right now. And still got certainly a little bit more to talk about tonight. Now, I want to jump into specifically, what are your thoughts on albums versus digital? What are your thoughts on singles now really being more of a focus than albums or projects? What are your thoughts on those two topics?
I am 100% for it, honestly. The music industry has to evolve in some way, shape, or form at some point. It was always destined to, and this is just the natural direction that it's taking. With streaming taking over, with music so easily accessible and really just on demand at this point. It's better to have a steady release of less music at a time than making people wait for super long amounts of time. If you're more of a traditional style artist, and you appeal to the crowd that still listens to music from when albums were prominent and everything, then it's 100% fine to do. But whenever you're especially chasing a newer, especially younger scene of people, I think it's important to have a more steady flow of music released, just because that's what's appealing. That's what keeps people talking about you at this point. People don't want to wait anymore. Music is so easy to listen to now. You can't leave people waiting. It's better to release one song every 2 months than a 12-song album every 9 months to a year at this point.
I fully agree, and was just saying this a couple of days ago, actually, in a conversation I was having with someone, and it is exactly what it is right now. Is the function and how the game works right now compared to where it was years back is a little bit different. Whenever internet came out more prevalent, whenever digital music came out, it did a shift in the industry of a lot of different things. Obviously, you had your original companies like Napster and Kazaa and LimeWire and all of those companies that came out that people were downloading music, and it was like, oh my god, there's just this gorge of music that we can draw from. And people just started downloading all kinds of weird shit, but that was our first taste of it. And then it led into more companies that were obviously legit, like Amazon and things like that. And it just slowly started changing how all of this was shaped, how you don't need a CD anymore or an album. Singles and things like that are fine now because you don't have to go pick it up. You can just pick one song, or you can just pick the whole album at a time. So then it started changing. Well, let's just release one song at a time, just keep blasting them constantly, because we can send it right to their front door without them ever leaving the house. So at that point, it just completely shifted the game, and that's what brings you to where we are now. And it has structured that you're correct. You can release a song every month to 2 months and get more steady buzz and get bigger than dropping a full-length album every 2 years.
100%. And that's I mentioned Garden earlier. He's a big influence, of mine. I love his music. He was going to drop an album called Creature earlier this year or sometime in 2019, and he decided to split it up into 2 EPs into part 1 and part 2. And I think that was a genius move on his part, because it kept me wanting more, but I didn't have to wait too long. If he dropped all 12 songs all at once, I'd be waiting even longer for more music from him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the tactics are important now. I mean, it's definitely switched and different now than where it was at one point in time. The way you go to look at it's different. A lot of artists say, I don't do the single thing. I think you should at least consider it, because, as I said, you hit them with a song, they listen to it for about a month and a half. A month and a half in life, as you get older, the older you get, it just goes by as quick as fuck. So a month and a half, 2 months, holy shit, that flew by, and boom, there's another song from this dude I like. I'm listening to, I'm getting used to that one. I got these 2 songs I'm listening to now. Boom, there's another one. So you keep that going, and it adds up quite a bit, and it still gives them content to listen to. And the human brain just latches onto that. Whereas if you drop them an album, they'll listen to those 12 songs, sure, but they'll listen to them for those 2 months, and then they're going to want more. We're constantly wanting to consume more. So they get old with it, whereas if you give them the individual bites, it seems to last longer. And I was just, like I said, having a very big conversation about that, and I think that that's a hot topic right now.
Not only that, but it's a little bit less risky too, because if you drop a single that flops, it's not as big of a deal because then you can drop a better single next month. If you drop an album that flops, you're kind of fucked for a bit. If you have a 12-song album that people don't like, that's 12 songs that, you kind of wasted your time on. But if you drop one song and people aren't the biggest fan of it, you can recover from that so much more easily. It's a much less risk-free system to, release less at once. Just in the case that you end up messing up, because everyone makes mistakes. You know what I mean?
Well, especially if you're changing your style at all, if you're in a point in your career, especially when you are newer, if you're developing your sound and you're not sure how people are going to perceive it, it is not advisable probably to go straight to a full-length album because, as you said, you brought up this whole album of this thing that you put your heart into, you think it's great, and then people just hate it. So whereas if you put that first song out and you're still shaping yourself, and then people are like, no, man, that just doesn't sound right, you go back, you work at it, and you might end up finding your real self. And that's all because of that. So you have to be careful with that whenever you're starting out, which obviously you found at this point, but I mean, that's the point that some people don't find.
100%. And the one thing is, if you want to drop like big albums and everything like that, you have to be a bigger name artist, like take even Drake, for example. He's dropping these huge 20-song albums and everything. And if you look at the album reviews themselves, the album reviews are terrible, but it's just because it's made of singles. People like that one song from the album, but the thing is, he doesn't need to drop a cohesive project. But if you're going to drop a cohesive project, especially if you're an underground artist in today's day and age, you can't try and overdo it. You need to really, know your limits, keep it at a minimum. Less is more a lot of times anymore in music.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I don't know. There's a good album every now and then in the underground. There's certain ones that I listen to. I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. I don't like a lot of the stuff that a lot of people do like, but I like a lot of shit that people don't. So it just depends. Because I mean, my stuff I listen to is vast, but it's also very just to me. Like I don't really know anybody listens to the shit that I listen to. So a lot of the big names out there, I mean, yeah, they're good. I just can't vibe with it.
Oh, 100%. I just feel like it's important that a lot of artists learn that a 3 to 5 song EP can have just as big of, if not a bigger impact than, a 10 plus song album. It doesn't need to be, a huge amount of content, all at once. You know what I mean?
Well, I've always thought that with big albums, because when people are like, I'm putting out an 18 song album, I'm like, why? Like, why would you do that many songs? Like, I always capped my albums out at 12 songs. I think I did one that was 14. But exactly. I don't really go much beyond that because I always felt like there's people like I'm putting a 22-song album out, and I'm like, that's awesome, but holy fuck, that's 22 songs all associated together on one project, one way out. And if for some reason you can't market that the right way, it's all packaged together. It's just a big bundle of shit in that case.
Yeah, and it's so easy for songs to get lost like that.
They do.
I kept my last project at 7 songs because I feel like that's a decent amount of content to put out at once. Gives people a good bit to listen to, but at the same time, it doesn't let any of the songs get lost. They can all shine in their own regard. But once you start oversaturating your albums, you can't be. Not everybody can be Lil Wayne dropping 20-song albums and making $1 million. Their songs will get lost. You can have an absolute banger that nobody listens to because it's track 13 on a 24-song album.
And you know what? That's happened a lot of times to me where I've listened to myself to an album 50 times. And like I'd pop it in the car driving somewhere. I drive a lot, so I'm listening to this album, but I always get to my destination before the album finishes. So I've listened to this thing over and over and over and over again. And then either one day I'm on a little bit of a longer drive or I hit shuffle for some reason, and it switches to this song of the artist that you're like, damn, what is this song? Meanwhile, it's number 17 on the album, and you've never heard the fucking thing, even though you listened to the album 50 times. And that can happen a lot, as you said. Like songs get overlooked because the project is too big.
Yeah, and I think my recent album caps out at about like 16 and a half minutes, which isn't huge by any means, but a lot of people, have been telling me like, they listen through it and now they want more and everything. If you give them too much music, they're going to have too much to absorb at once, but it's about finding that balance of, where people end up wanting more, but there's still enough for them to listen to. And a lot of artists don't understand that. And even if you do want to drop like a 20-song album at some point, do it. But I feel like you need to have a certain amount of just respect, and you need to be known to a certain degree to be able to get away with, huge projects like that. People like R.A. the Rugged Man, even like I said before, Lil Wayne, everyone like that, they've been around for a while. They have a lot of respect in the game. They can get away with doing that. But I feel like a lot, especially underground artists, to catch a buzz, they can't get away with that as much. Once you break so many songs, it's really counterintuitive.
It is. I mean, it really is. But it's still done quite frequently and will continue to be done as so. We're going to jump into another song of yours, my man. We are going to be playing Blackout. Why don't you tell us a little bit about this song? We're going to jump into it.
Yeah, this song is just about how, a few times I've, been depressed, thinking about, horrible things that have happened in my past. And, I just smoked a shit ton of weed and drank some beer or something just to forget about it and try and have a good night. And I think it's something a lot of people can relate to.
I think we've all probably been there at one point or another, and we're going to certainly try to have a flashback with it now by listening to Blackout. We'll be right back on Uncovering the Underground.
Blackout, forget the night. It don't matter if I'm not alright. I'll drink too much and smoke 10 blunts, pop 10 or 20 pills, I don't give a fuck. I just wanna black out, forget the night. I remember back when we were young and you were missing me. Take another shot when I think about our history. Hope I can forget you for the day, but probably not. So I'll just erase my mind with all the other shit I got. Jaeger bombs, bong rips, your name's still clear. I can't accept them all alone and face my fears. Your face is looking blurry after 7 beers, and I'll forget your middle name with some Everclear. I just wanna black out, forget the night. I just wanna black out, forget the night. It don't matter if I'm not alright. I'll drink too much and smoke 10 blunts, pop 10 or 20 pills, I don't give a fuck. I just wanna black out, forget the night. I just wanna lose my mind tonight. Don't even bother asking if I'm alright. I'm just giving in, I don't wanna fight. Can't forget the pain, but I sure can try. I just wanna black out, forget the night. I just wanna black out, forget the night. It don't matter if I'm not alright. I'll drink too much and smoke 10 blunts, pop 10 or 20 pills, I don't give a fuck. I just wanna black out, forget the night. I just wanna lose my mind tonight. Don't even bother asking if I'm alright. I'm just giving in, I don't wanna fight. Can't forget the pain, but I sure can try.
And that was Blackout by Jay Caulfield, and we've been hanging out with him for the last hour. Just shooting the breeze, talking some fun topics. If you just tuned in and you missed the beginning of the episode, don't worry. You can always go back and check it out after the live portion of this show is done. It'll be up and available for streaming and download on any device out there, on any platform out there that hosts podcast radio, from iTunes to iHeartRadio, Google Play, and everything in between. Make sure you check us out. As I said before, don't mean to beat a dead horse, but if you want to tune in and talk to us on the Instant Messenger, we have that up, and there's people talking now. You can message us and let us know what you think of the show, ask questions of our guest, and just give us feedback. So that was Blackout, and before that we listened to Come Up Against. I say it again?
Come Uppins.
Come Uppins.
Come Uppins.
And it's a hard thing to say. And they both on the same project coming up, you said?
The project that's out now on Spotify and every other major streaming service, Please Don't Love Me.
No, that's the one. Okay, so that's the one that just dropped. But you're working on an upcoming project, you said, correct?
I'm working on multiple projects right now, but the one that I'm talking about is Blunts Under the Bridge, coming tentatively in June. It's going to be a more punk rock-ish focused EP. I've been listening to a good amount of that recently, and I've been listening to a lot of beats that have that as a heavy inspiration. I think it's perfect for the summer. You know, I'm going to just drop, it'll be like 3 or 4 songs it's looking to be so far. You know, just something fun to listen to vibe with, you know, smoke a blunt with your friends and just kick it, you know, on a nice July evening or whatever.
We play, what's the song that you sent me quite a while back? It had like the Jamaican vibe to it.
That was Fuck Up. That's not available online anymore.
Well, that song was dope, man. I used to play that on the show quite a bit. I played that track, and it just had a fun vibe to it as well. So it was just kind of like a chill kickback, but fuck you type song, and I dug it.
Yeah, that was actually the first song I ever recorded in college. I wrote that when I was 17 and recorded it about like 12 times, and I couldn't get a take that I liked. And when I moved into college a year later, I got all my recording equipment set up in my apartment in college, and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to try it again. And I got a take that I liked, so I just kind of went with it. I don't really care for the song anymore, but I always kind of like telling that story.
No, that's what's up, though, man. It has its own story, and the thing is, they all do. They all have their own individual story of like how they came about, what kind of things were going on in your life during the writing of that song. At least for me, anyhow, I look at certain songs that I've put out that I'm like, wow, that song specifically was just a crazy time in my life that I remember shit that was going on during the writing of that song. So they're like individual files of memory.
Mm-hmm.
They become your babies.
Yeah, and I was just happy to finally get a take that I liked, and that was what kind of started the ball rolling for me in music again in college. It took me a little while to get really, really back into it. I actually dropped out of college once and went back, and my second time back was what really just got me doing music again. I I ended up realizing that college wasn't for me and how passionate I really am about music and how bad I want it. So I left. I'm working full time now and just putting everything towards it. Shout out to all the people at Cigarettes for Less, my boy Nick, Nate, Zach, Lex, Lisa, even Mark, all you guys, and the boys at Impervious Mutation. These guys have been big supporters of me, you know, working towards what I really want to do. And I've just been, you know, really realizing what I want recently ever since that, you know.
Good people make for good results.
Yeah, that song really started a whole lot for me because I ended up dropping Too Much Sauce not long after that, which was a pretty decently received party song. That one's actually still available because I still like it. And then it just turned into more and more, and it turned into the album that I just released.
That's great, though. There's the evolution, you know. You said it yourself, like the song, you left one up because you still like it, but the other one you took down just because you don't. And that's, I think, we've all been there as well. I took down some music, but funny enough, I'm actually releasing an album coming up this year that is a bunch of songs from when I originally came out that haven't been online for years. And the quality won't be near as good as my new music. Or newer music, but it's going to be something I think the fans are going to have fun with it. It's like, check what I started out as to what I am now, but the funny thing is it's still really dope music, so it's not bad. It's not like I'm making fun of it, but it's like saying, look at the different evolutions. There's 2 completely different Skippy Ickums there, both really dope, but definitely different. You can see it's shaped. So it's kind of cool sometimes to hit them with that. So don't be too hard on your music. Maybe someday down the road you slap them with that song again and say, check this out. I wrote this years ago, and it's still a dope track.
Oh yeah, 100%. I just feel like I'm really picky about what represents me as an artist, and it's not even 100% that I think it's a bad song. It's just not what I want people's impression of me to be. Because one of the ways that I like to look at my music every time I write and release a song now is, if this was the first song anyone has ever heard from me, what impression would they get? What would they expect from me? And if it's not something positive, or it's not what I'm like really aiming for, then I don't think it's worthy of being released. I always look at every song with the perspective of, you know, if someone knows nothing about me, what impression will it give if it's the first song they hear?
No, I get that because that's where I was for a very, very long time, and I still am. I mean, anything I put out, I have to make sure it's like it's dope. It's something I truly stand behind. And I even stand behind these songs. It was just that I took it down a long time ago, and kind of put up some other things, started really putting together my vision, and kind of scrapped it. It was a small project I put out, and it kind of just within like probably 6 months I took it down. And then it was kind of just forgotten for years. And then I opened up a file on my computer, and I'm like, oh shit, I still have this. I thought I lost it when I crashed my computer. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to release this again. I think people are going to have the one song, the title track, and it was 2012 was the name of the one track. And I'm like, holy shit. And that was actually talking about 2012 as if it was the future, because it was at that time. So I'm like, it was even older. It was pretty crazy. Sometimes you find some gems of your own music you forgot about.
Oh, dude, tell me about it. If I ever go through like my old like starred emails from when I was like middle school and high school, I find some like the worst shit I've heard in my life.
And you do forget about a lot of it.
Sometimes. And I'm like, wait, I recorded this? What was I thinking? You know, what was I doing? I found some like collabs I did with artists that like don't exist online at all anymore. Stuff like that. Crazy shit, man.
It's fun though, man. I mean, I remember I went in my basement and I found a box of tapes, like cassette tapes. And they were from when I was a kid. I had this cassette recorder, like this big one. It was nice. And I would record all kinds of shit. And I went back and I found these tapes, and they were way old. I mean, they're like 20-some years old at this point. And probably about 25 years old. And I was listening to them the one day and put the tape in, and there was all kinds of things that I was like reading, poem-type stuff, singing, just all kinds of ideas that I don't even remember doing. Like, when I listen to it, it's foreign to me.
It's crazy shit, man. Just seeing yourself evolve, you know. If you would have told me when I was 13, recording my first songs ever, that I'd be doing what I'm doing today, like I'm opening for fucking Attila, dude. Like I'd have laughed at you, you know. It's really crazy to look back and just watch yourself evolve as an artist. It's kind of enjoyable sometimes.
Life's endless, my man. You just gotta ride it. You know what I mean? You gotta pick the right paths, and you gotta ride those paths and put your heart into it, and it usually works out pretty good in the end.
100%, brother.
Now, if you didn't have hip-hop, if you weren't putting out music, if you had all that time back, every hour, every minute that you've spent writing lyrics, performing, crafting yourself and your music to put into one other thing, what would it be?
One other thing? Shit. Man, my whole life, there's been nothing that's been more prominent than music. So that's actually one of the hardest questions I've ever been asked.
Well, that's what it's meant to be. Absolutely.
That's really, really crazy to think about.
Well, you'll have to ponder on that and let us know.
Honestly, though, it would be to work in media in some way, shape, or form. I've always enjoyed like design, art, you know, painting shit. I went to college for both graphic design and video production. I enjoyed the, you know, work itself. I just dropped out of the programs for separate reasons. But it would probably be something along those lines within that realm. I've always just been passionate about media in general.
Yeah,
mainly
fun,
music,
yeah,
but it would be in the media field, 100%.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I mean, I'm on the radio, you know, so I do the radio side of things. I love that. I never was good at art, so I couldn't do that. I can make music. I can definitely host things and talk on the radio, but when it comes to drawing or making any type of art, fucking forget about it. I'm the worst artist you've ever met.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, I leave the art to my girlfriend. Shout outs to her. Love you, Liv. She's the talented one, but I've dabbled in it a bit myself. I've done a few things that I'm proud of, and you know, I definitely, if I didn't have music, that's definitely something I would have applied myself to more, because I do enjoy painting and drawing just for my own sake. You know, even if I'm stressed out, just drawing my feelings out. If I'm not feeling, you know, writing lyrics that day.
No, it's a good, you have to have that release of some sort, whether it's writing poetry, whether it's just writing in a journal, whether it is singing, whatever it is. You have to have some type of release to kind of get the edge off.
Oh yeah, and I mean, I do a lot of my own graphic design. So that's just another release for me too. Another way to be creative. I did my own album design and everything. I've been, paying some people here and there to do stuff for me, but I'd say about 90% of my work so far has just been all my own. So that's just another release that I have, and something else I probably would have put some more time into. 100%.
Okay. No, that's pretty dope, though. I mean, it's good to be self-sufficient, to be able to take care of a lot of the things that you do. I see myself, there's a lot of people that record themselves, and I don't. I never liked doing that, and there's nothing wrong with doing that. I just personally didn't like it. And, there's people that just are completely against that. But if you know how to record yourself, if you know how to mix and master, if you make your own production, you make your own graphic art, you become self-sufficient. You really don't need to rely on anybody else. You're just kind of like a one-man band. You just do it all, and it's endless how you can market yourself.
That's actually a lot of what I'm doing right now. My whole last album was entirely self-recorded in my college apartment and also in my bedroom at my parents' house now, and mixed by me. When I was in school for video production, I learned a decent bit of vocal mixing and mastering. So I can't necessarily get it at, 5-star, studio levels of quality, but I can definitely do it, well enough at this point that I don't need to necessarily pay someone for it until I'm, recording in a big ass studio. But that saved me a lot of time and money, and it's made my output a lot, better just because I'm self-sufficient in the recording department. And I don't have to spend my money on graphic design all the time. I'm doing it because I choose to now, not because I have to. And I just shot my own first music video with some of my friends. Shout out to Trevor, Trent, and Cameron for helping me out with that last night. And I'm going to be editing that myself with the stuff that I learned from video production college as well. So it's really helping me with, getting a buzz for myself, just being as self-sufficient as possible, not relying on everyone else and just using my money to get me out there, because then I can put my money towards, more important things, printing up merch, a little bit extra promotion, stuff like that.
No, makes sense, man. Save the money where you can, put it to where you need it and apply it. And it gets more reach for yourself, like I said, because eliminating the cost of studio, eliminating the cost of graphic art, and having to pay for designs is going to free up a good little chunk of money that can be put towards merch or put towards, promotion or marketing of some sort. So you just got to pick where you want to place your money, because you only have so much of it. And there's a lot of different categories. Do you have to kind of spread it out evenly or put it all into a couple and just really push those angles?
Yeah, I figure the most I can do for myself, the better,
Well-rounded.
That's the best way to, attack it at this point. Honestly, whenever I went to college for graphic design and video production, my mindset was music. I figured I can use this to better myself as an artist. I can either be self-sufficient or just make myself more valuable to labels because I have this skill. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, because you stand out. You're not just that one thing. You're not just, okay, he's just that kid that raps. No, you're like, I can do quite a bit.
Yeah, like I can, say if, at some point I find a label that gives me a, deal or something that I agree with and I like, not only can I just be, an artist for them. If they need some sort of in-house photographer or something for, a label show or photo shoot or whatever, I can be applied in that as well. I like to be, I feel like having multiple skills is really important, You can't just make the music.
I mean, some people do, but yeah, that was never me, that's for sure. I was always involved in a lot of different things. I'm like, I'm good at this, but I also want to do this because it connects and it can help, and it's something else I have a passion in. So just I to put all your energy just into one thing sounds great. And I'm sure, yeah, you would master that thing, but it's like, do you only want to do one thing?
Yeah, 100%. And honestly, one big thing, I'm not going to name him because he doesn't deserve to be named, but some rainbow-haired piece of shit. He was nothing after he left his team, because his team did his videos for him. They wrote his songs for him, all that shit. And he tried to do his own thing, and it was honestly trash until he got other people to do his thing for him. And I'm sure everyone knows who I'm talking about, rainbow-haired snitch, whatever. But he wasn't self-sufficient enough. He didn't have those skills to, be successful on his own. He had to get other people behind him. It's kind of my goal to be able to write my own stuff, produce as much as I can for myself until I'm at the point that I make enough money to be able to pay, these high quality, video production companies to make my music videos.
And that day will come. You're just going to keep on pushing it, and certainly it's there for you, brother. It's endless.
Damn right.
The fruit is there to be picked. Now, let's jump into your last track. After that, we'll come back. We'll get you to tell us who you want to thank. We'll, tell us where we can check out all of your different stuff at, and then we'll go ahead and get closing out for the evening. But tell us a little bit about You Never Said You Loved Me Too.
This was the last song that I wrote and recorded for the album. I heard this beat, and, as we talked about beats speaking to you earlier, it spoke to me the first time I heard it. I knew how I wanted it to sound, but I just wasn't sure what the, what exactly to say with it. And I just, did a little bit of digging into myself, thinking about, all the shit that I've been through in the past and everything, relationship issues and everything. And I thought about especially one specific ex. And I just kind of wrote from that. I kind of, just took, what I felt then to make a song that, one, I was extremely proud of, and two, that was relatable to other people. I've never made a song that I've been more proud of in my entire life. I feel like it's going to be really difficult to top that one. And last night, like I was talking about earlier, I just got done shooting for a music video for this. I'm going to be editing it soon, putting it out wherever, probably on YouTube. Might try and find somebody to host it, but keep your eyes open for that.
Absolutely. And you're going to check it out right now, folks. This is You Never Said You Loved Me Too. We'll be right back on UTU.
When I gave my heart to you, you didn't say you love me too. Sitting with a sharpened blade, contemplating what to do. Take away my everything, say those things that make me think that my life ain't worth it, 'cause I'm already right on the brink. When I met you, I thought that you were innocent, but I see it ain't true, not even a little bit. I was such an idiot, thinking you were even kinda decent. You said you loved me, but you didn't even mean it. Fuck you, I'll do it on my own now. Everywhere I played, getting loud from the whole crowd. I never thought we would end up at each other's necks at every moment of the day. I try to do my best, but you just make me feel ashamed. I gave you everything I had, you took it for granted. I'm always sad, but still did all the shit you demanded. You and I were never meant to be, but we still were. Just like my wrists were never meant to bleed, but they still hurt. Is this what you want to do? You never seem to think it through. You throw away the last one and you do the same with someone new. When I gave my heart to you, you didn't say you love me too. Sitting with a sharpened blade and contemplating what to do. Take away my everything, say those things that make me think that my life ain't worth it, 'cause I'm already right on the brink.
All right, folks, we are back, and that was You Never Said You Love Me Too by Jay Caulfield, and we've been hanging out with him for the last hour and 17 minutes, and we've been talking about a lot of different things, and we're finishing that out now. Hopefully you guys liked that song. Sorry for the little delay there, folks. I was hearing a beeping in the background. I wasn't sure if we lost him. But, we just listened to 3 of his songs tonight on his most recent project. He's about to tell you where you can check his social media sites out at and who he would like to thank.
All right. First of all, you can add me all on Snapchat at Jay Caulfield 412. Same thing on Instagram and Twitter at Jay Caulfield 412. Listen to my new album, Please Don't Love Me, on Spotify, Google Play, whatever you use, it's there. Just look me up, Jay Caulfield. Look up Please Don't Love Me. Put me on your playlist. Put that shit in rotation. Get ready. There's only more to come. I want to give, a bunch of thanks out to my girlfriend, Liv, once again. All my coworkers at Cigarettes for Less. You guys are, huge supporters of me, always have been. Thanks again. My old friends from West Point, I'm sorry I can't visit you anymore. I'm banned and shit, but fuck it, we had good times. I want to shout out my best friend in the entire world, Shayla. I love you. I miss you. I can't wait to hang out with you again, you dumb bitch. And just anybody who's, listening to my music on Spotify, on SoundCloud, anyone who's taken the time to just check me out, even if you didn't like it, thanks for listening. Music is all I've ever wanted in my entire life. It's all I've ever thought about since I was like 6 years old. I've always wanted to be a musician. So any form of support is just really appreciated. Thanks to anyone who's ever booked me for a show, who's ever, just press play on SoundCloud. Thank you.
You heard it, folks, right there. Hopefully you enjoyed everything that he had to share with us tonight, from his music to who he is as a person, who he is as an artist, and how he's gotten here, what all he has coming for you in the near future. If you like the show, make sure you click the like, share, and follow button. Make sure you go back and listen to the whole entire episode. So if you're listening right now, go back and listen to it from the beginning if you missed anything. And we certainly would appreciate it. I'm getting a little bit of feedback. I apologize, folks. Cutting in and out a little bit. But before we go for the evening, I did want to make sure that if anybody listening out there is a fan of Brutal Business Entertainment, is a fan of Demo Demon, our artist recently released his newest EP called Bad Feelings, and it is free. So you can check that out and download it for free. Enjoy a really nice 7-piece 7-track EP that I am very happy to put my name behind as far as Brutal Business Entertainment. This is an artist who we've been together for quite a long time over the years, and he just never fails to amaze me, continues to put out great music. So make sure you check that out. Check out all new things coming out on Brutal Business at teambrutalbusiness.com. Other than that, you can catch us next week with Brutal Business Entertainment model Layla Page. We're going to be giving you a hell of a show, and we hope you look forward to that episode. Make sure you click that like, share, and follow button. And before we go for the night, we are going to play one last song, and this song is from a new announcement that I had recently made of a collaboration with Vile Tactics, which is my new rap group, which is going to be me, Killa Noise, and Trouble. This next track is me and Killa Noise together. Trouble's not on this one. We have a couple of our buddies on here, Delirious and Leerzone. But check out this brand new unreleased track on Killa Noise's upcoming album. This is Fake Rapper. And Jay?
Yeah.
It was nice having you on the show, brother. I appreciate you coming out tonight. Was losing you in and out there a little bit at the end. We were having some technical difficulties, but it was great having you on the show, man. I really enjoyed talking to you, and I look forward to everything you can bring to the game here in the near future.
Yeah, dude, thank you so much. Last minute shout out to the boys from Legally Insane, Gimpy and Big C. Love you guys too. Thanks for having me again, Skippy. I had a great time.
Absolutely. Well, we'll catch you next time, brother. And folks, this is Fake Rapper from Killa Noise. Have a great night.
Tried to pull the wool over my eyes so I could not see that you a wolf in disguise, merely playing a sheep. All you ever did was lie so petty and cheap that you could suck a dick and die, wouldn't lose no sleep because you're marked for death, no time for rest. Till my hands around your throat and there is no more breath. Take this big buck knife to the side of your chest. I enter brutal business, logo deep into your flesh. Ain't got time for fake friends, only got time for pouring my heart and passion into this ink pen. Cause I write bars, blow minds, create trends, make ends. Every now and then I gotta break, man. Motherfucker, I'm a hip-hop beast and you a hip-hop nothing cause your hip-hop ceased. You try to pick it up again, then I guess we'll see. How quickly I could destroy you, dismantle your dream. This man right here was a part of my team, therefore was in store for a part of the scheme. To build it up, ill as fuck. Everyone around be feeling us, what? But you had to fuck it up now, didn't you? Chance of a lifetime, I bet that's hitting you. I guess you thought that I'd never get rid of you. Come around me, you know, really be hitting you.
I don't care for being hated, I don't wanna be the she's doing time. Fuck a white beater, I brought you both together. Now she's calling me up every night like it's my fault, like music is proof. Blaming intrusion like it was a ruse. Threatening my work and cutting my child on being a butcher is something I do. Fuck, when you gon' stand by an artist or someone who damn lies. We talk about the past a couple times, but still this bitch wanna go and try to ruin me, flatten some punk shit like I don't got ammo stacked up. I know you shelling, your art ain't selling. You target the ones that have came up. Instead, gonna find yourself in a hard place. When I blow up quick, it's so good. You could buy my hits, then slit your wrists like I thought you would. You can see me smile when you hear this. I ain't held no punches once, so when you aim at my direction, know I live this life you could.
I'll never care for being hated. I don't wanna be the best. I got these demons coming out of me that's weight up on my chest. I'll never claim to be the greatest, but I'll tell you that I'm stressed. So get the fuck away from me before I snap and make you dead. Okay, now fuck a big rapper, brutal business till we die. Got that chain around our necks, middle fingers in the sky. We never hate or perpetrate, don't save no face, we fierce inside. Fuck a fake friend with this ink, pen will take your life.
Seems like nowadays stuck in a rage, picking apart the enemy, sitting up on my plate. Rain full of hate, but they say it's okay. I don't wanna hear nothing, just leave me to A. Fuck with the team, you'll get punched in a cheek. Lay you out, chop you up in a lunch for my meat. Turn a beast when I feast, got stuck in my teeth. Bitch, I'm going to hell and you coming with me. Should've never really had to be like that, but someone had to be a little B like that. You a snitch, suck a dick, it ain't no G-type rats. How the hell you wanna rap me but never know how to act? Hope you little niggas is watching your back. With a knife in my hand, I won't leave you intact. Brain in your lap when the gun it go clap. I was deep in your chicken, was loving the cat. Stupidest motherfucker for thinking that I would never stop. But I'm about to go ballistic and shit on niggas for hella props. My lyrics getting thick as a bitch and I get the feeling I'm killing. I'm about the millions and really I'm about to let it stop. So sick of this shit, let me keep it solo dolo when you're rid of my brains. Ain't nobody understood me of the shit that I was in. I be hitting the opposition, the enemy with my pen like fuck you.